Welcome to Sunrise, first light for what's next on B2B revenue teams. Lots to cover today, so let's dive in.
Okay, close your eyes for just a second. I want you to picture 5 very different people. Think Oprah Winfrey, Dennis Rodman, Elon Musk, Gordon Ramsay, and Mr. Rogers. You can see them pretty instantly, right?
Absolutely, clear as day.
Yeah, and it's not just their faces, is it? It's their energy, what they represent.
The feeling they give off.
Exactly. Oprah, she's the caregiver, right? It makes you feel seen.
Totally.
Rodman, pure outlaw. Rules just, well, they don't apply.
Definitely breaks the mold.
Elon.
Yeah.
Maybe the magician. Kind of bends reality.
Yeah, that fits. Visionary, disruptive.
Ramsay, definitely the ruler. Excellence or get out.
No question there. High standards.
And Mr. Rogers. Just the innocent, pure goodness and a cardigan. 5 people, 5 totally different archetypes, and all completely unforgettable.
Unforgettable is the key word there.
Right. So now let's take that same power, that instant recognition, and apply it to B2B brands, the ones that really dominate their space. Think Salesforce. They feel like the hero, don't they? Conquering impossible growth, bringing companies and customers together.
Yeah, I see that. That trailblazer energy.
Or Gong. They're more like the magician, revealing hidden patterns in sales calls, making reality, well, negotiable.
Seeing what others miss.
Good one. And HubSpot feels very much like the sage, always teaching, educating. There's a better way to grow.
Definitely the educator role. And Monday.com, they bring in that gesture energy, making work feel a bit more playful, like work doesn't have to suck.
Totally. And Stripe, I see them as the creator, building the infrastructure, increase the GDP of the internet. It's foundational.
Building blocks.
The point is, you don't just buy from these brands, you kind of identify with them.
Right. There's a connection that goes beyond just the features or the service. But here's the rub.
Go on.
Most B2B brands, they completely lack this. They're what some researchers we looked at call Frankenbrands.
Frankenbrands. Okay, explain that.
They stitch together bits and pieces, trying to be everything. Innovative and reliable and customer-centric and disruptive.
And they end up being nothing memorable at all.
Precisely. Forgettable to everyone because they lack a core identity.
And this brings us to something really important we need to clear up. A piece of, let's say, common wisdom that might actually be holding companies back.
I think I know where you're going. The 12 archetypes.
Exactly. If you've learned about brand archetypes, you've probably been taught there were just 12 basic ones, the foundational set.
And look, those 12 are a starting point. But the sources we dove into are pretty clear. Relying only on those 12 today, it's just not enough.
It's kind of inaccurate in a competitive market.
Is that accurate how?
Because to really stand out, to achieve that distinctiveness we see in brands like Gong or Stripe, you need more nuance. The research actually points to 60 archetypes.
60? Wow. Okay, that's a huge jump from 12.
It is.
Yep.
And that specificity, that granularity, that's the difference between being background noise and becoming truly memorable. So let's dig into why this distinctiveness is so critical. It's not just about looking cool, right? There's actual science here.
Oh, absolutely. It goes deep into psychology. There's a finding from Harvard Business School professor Gerald Zaltman that's just staggering.
Okay, what is it?
He found that 95% of purchasing decisions are made subconsciously.
95%. So almost everything.
Almost everything. It means people aren't primarily choosing based on logic or feature comparisons or ROI calculators. Not really.
So what are they choosing based on?
Identity, emotion, how different you make them feel compared to the alternatives. It's about resonance, not just rationale.
But that feels counterintuitive for B2B, doesn't it? We're supposed to be logical buyers.
That's the great irony. The B2B world talks logic, but decisions are still driven by human psychology. And the biggest mistake most B2B brands make, they're terrified of being different.
They want to fit in, play it safe.
Exactly. So they default to this generic language. You know the type. Innovative solutions for modern businesses, driving efficiency through synergy.
Oh yeah. Trusted by leading brands means absolutely nothing.
It's safe. It's wallpaper. And you forget it instantly.
And think about that 95% again. If nearly all buying decisions are subconscious, but we spend almost all our marketing and sales effort on the logical 5%. Features, benefits, specs.
It's a massive mismatch, a huge waste of energy and budget.
But when a brand does break that pattern, when they commit to a distinct archetype, you're saying the impact is real and it's measurable.
You move from being interchangeable to being recognizable. Someone the buyer gets instantly.
Okay, let's design our terms properly then. We keep using this word archetype. What exactly is it at its core?
Fundamentally, an archetype is a universal character. Something instantly familiar that cuts across time, culture, age, gender. It represents some kind of eternal human truth or pattern.
Like the hero, the mother, the trickster. Things we see in myths and stories everywhere.
Precisely. Carl Jung really formalized this idea. He saw archetypes as these innate patterns embedded in what he called the collective unconscious.
The collective unconscious sounds a bit mystical.
It just means the shared, inherited part of the human psyche. It's why certain symbols and personalities resonate with us immediately, without needing a whole backstory. We just know them.
And you feel their energy.
You feel their energy.
Yeah.
And that's the link to buying decisions. Archetypes tap directly into our deepest hopes and fears. They operate right at that subconscious level where choices are made.
Give me an example of that hope-fear connection.
Okay, think about the hero archetype. When you encounter that energy, you subconsciously feel their fear of failure.
Right?
But you also feel their powerful hope for victory and success.
Right, and the sage.
You sense their underlying fear of ignorance, of being misled, but also their deep hope for enlightenment, for truth.
And the outlaw.
Fear of being controlled, trapped by the system, and the corresponding hope for liberation, for freedom. The brand embodying that archetype inherits that whole emotional package.
Wow, okay, so without an archetype.
Your brand is just an empty container. A logo, maybe a tagline, no real emotion, no human connection.
You're with an archetype.
It suddenly becomes human, relatable. It feels like someone your customer can identify with, maybe even trust, and definitely remember. It shifts the whole dynamic.
From transactional to relational.
They provide the basic framework. They're typically grouped by their core driver. So you have archetypes driven by, say, connection and belonging.
Like the caregiver or the citizen, maybe everyman in some models.
Correct. Then those driven by independence and fulfillment, think the creator or the explorer.
The ones seeking something more.
Then you have the risk and mastery group. This is where you find the hero, the outlaw, the magician.
Action-oriented, transformative.
And finally, the stability and control group. The innocent, the sage, the ruler, providing order, wisdom, security.
And sometimes you see the jester and lover added, focusing on joy and connection, so that's roughly the dozen.
That's the classic set, useful for understanding the basic motivations. But here's the critical problem we keep hitting.
The blending trap.
The blending trap. If you operate in, say, the tech space, how many brands claim to be the hero saving the day or the sage providing all the answers?
Oh, almost all of them. It's the default setting. Innovative hero, insightful sage.
Exactly. So when everyone claims the same basic identity, you're right back to sounding generic. You haven't actually differentiated yourself in a meaningful way.
Which brings us back to the 60. Is the argument that you need that level of nuance to truly cut through the noise?
That's precisely it. Think of the 12 as primary colors. The 60 are the full spectrum of hues and shades. They give you the granularity needed to carve out a truly unique space.
But isn't there a risk if I pick something super specific, like, I don't know, The Alchemist? Will my audience get it, or will they just lump me in with magician anyway and I've lost the nuance?
That's a fair question. But the thinking is the dilution happens when you stay too broad, not when you get specific. The 60 aren't just slight variations. They are distinct personalities.
With their own unique motivations and fears and voices.
Correct.
Okay, let's make this concrete. Let's look at some examples from the 60 and see how they offer more depth than the basic 12. You mentioned the alchemist. How is that different from the standard magician?
Right. So the magician often achieves transformation through vision, charisma, maybe seemingly effortless magic. Think Steve Jobs revealing the iPhone. The alchemist, however, transforms through process, through experimentation, iteration, perfecting a formula. It implies rigor.
Okay, I get that. That feels different. How about another? Let's look at the caregiver family. You mentioned the advocate earlier.
Yes. The standard caregiver nurtures and supports. The advocate takes it a step further. They don't just care, they mobilize. They fight for something: fairness, transparency, systemic change. There's a strong sense of principle, of taking a stand.
Like Patagonia in the consumer world, maybe. That kind of energy.
Precisely. In B2B, this is rare because it requires real commitment. But imagine a compliant software company embodying the advocate. Their voice isn't just, "we help you stay compliant." It could be, "we don't just build software, we fight for a fairer, more transparent financial system." It's powerful.
It's definitely memorable. Okay, outlaw family. Beyond just breaking rules, you mentioned the rebel.
Right. The classic outlaw might break rules just for the sake of freedom or disruption. The rebel, specifically, often burns things down for progress. They challenge the status quo because they genuinely believe the current system is broken and needs fundamental change for the better.
So there's a purpose behind the rebellion, not just chaos.
Exactly. In B2B, the rebel challenges industry norms not just to be different, but because they see a better way that benefits the customer, even if it upsets the established players. Their voice is something like, "The old way is broken. We're building the future. Watch us."
That's a strong stance. Let's do one more pair for contrast. Maybe something technical versus something independent. You mentioned the engineer.
Okay, the engineer archetype is related to the alchemist or magician, but grounded in practicality and structure. They're the ultimate systems builders, methodical, reliable, focused on precision and creating things that work flawlessly and scale.
So their promise is dependability, right?
Absolutely. Their voice is about assurance. We don't just build products. We engineer robust solutions designed to last. It's about predictable excellence.
Now contrast that with, say, the Maverick.
The Maverick is all about independence. They don't follow the playbook. They write their own. They value autonomy and nonconformity above all else. They aren't necessarily trying to fix the system like the Rebel. They just want to operate outside of it on their own terms.
So less about structure, more about freedom and forging their own path.
Exactly. And maybe one more quick distinction. The detective. Different from the sage.
How so?
The sage shares wisdom already gained. The detective actively uncovers truth. They dig for evidence, connect disparate dots, investigate mysteries. Their focus is on discovery and revelation through tenacity. You see how these nuances create completely different feelings?
Yeah, absolutely. The difference is clear. Okay, so we get it. Specificity matters. The 60 offer that path. For someone listening right now thinking, okay, I'm sold, I need to do this, what's the practical path forward? How do they actually implement this?
Great question. It needs to be actionable. The sources lay out a pretty clear process. Step 1, get the tools. You need the full set of 60 archetype definitions, often available as digital cards. The resource we analyzed is archetypesandbranding.com. They have a good set. Don't try to do this from memory.
Okay, get the cards. Step 2.
Get visual. Use a digital whiteboard mural, something like that. Put all 60 cards up where everyone can see them, move them around, interact with them.
Makes sense. Step 3 is about people.
Critically important. Gather a cross-functional team. Everyone needs to understand and embody the chosen personality.
Okay, a cross-functional team assembled. What next?
Run a structured workshop. Keep it tight. The recommendation is about 45 minutes.
45 minutes to pick an archetype? Seems fast.
The structure makes it work. Something like 10 minutes to quickly review all 60 definitions together. 15 minutes for individual silent brainstorming. Each person picks their top 3 to 5 gut reactions based on the company's soul.
Gut reactions are key there, not overthinking.
Exactly. Then 10 minutes to share those individual picks, look for patterns, and discuss overlaps. And a final 10 minutes to debate the top contenders and narrow it down to maybe 3 finalists.
Okay, so you end the workshop with a few strong candidates, then the big decision.
Yes. Step 5, choose one primary archetype.
1. Just 1. What about picking 2? Hedge your bets.
Resist that temptation. Choosing 2 primary archetypes almost always leads to dilution. Your primary archetype needs to do about 80% of the heavy lifting for your brand's personality.
80%. That's a strong commitment. Can you have a secondary one at all?
You can, but be careful. A secondary archetype should only be used sparingly, perhaps to round out a specific edge or address a minor weakness in the primary. But the primary drives the core identity. Focus is absolutely key here.
Okay, choose 1 primary. Step 6, live it.
Live it. Immediately start rewriting key assets through the lens of that chosen archetype. Your homepage copy, your core sales deck, your main email sequences, your About Us page.
How do you know when you've got it right?
The goal is consistency.
When you commit fully to that archetype,
And you execute it relentlessly across every single touch point, you change the game. You stop competing primarily on features and price, and you start competing on identity.
and people connect with identity.
People connect with identity. They don't just buy from you. They identify with you. They feel aligned with your mission, your values, your way of seeing the world.
So the challenge for everyone listening is clear.
Make this the year you stop blending in. Go beyond the basic 12. Find your specific archetype within the 60.
Commit to it. Live it. In your product, your marketing, your sales, your support, everywhere.
That is how you build a truly unforgettable brand. That's how you win.